Hello guys, I'm just waiting for a few of you to join in and then we will get going. Just get your comments in the section, guys, so I know that loads of you are here. I want you spamming that comment section, saying hello to everyone in the chat, and we will get going. But I don't see the point in starting when there's not a fair few of you here. So we've got in Reece Durkin, hello. Robert Thornton, hello mate. Northern Nomad, Jake Roussel, I don't know if that's how you pronounce your name, mate. I'm usually quite good with names. I think Roussel is how you pronounce that name. I'm not 100% sure. Evening anyway, hope you're all right. Elegante leather, love it. Feeling freaky, hey, top of the league. JH Games, KP's a machine. Tommy Firth, all right, guys. Super Leeds, hey. Mikey3 TV, yes. Elegante, can't believe MB has turned Alioski's hair white. Rice up, okay, lads. Andy, how do? Mikey, 3D TV. Hey, man. Eugene, MOTV. Likes, lads, likes. Cheers, mate. We're all in. We're getting a few in. There's 28 of you now. I'm sure we'll get more during the stream. So, let's get on with it. Hey, let's get on with it. So, where do we start? I'm going to start with Swansea. I covered to death. Borough, I covered that to death. So, yeah, let's get into Swansea. Let's get into something we want to get in. Let's roll our sleeves up and get into the Swansea game. Laptop's just died, so we'll get your comments back going. Get that light back up. Yep, so let's get into it anyway. So, how did I think the game went? Do you know what? I thought for the first 70 minutes, Leeds were brilliant. Leeds were absolutely excellent. And that's what we want to see. That is what we want to see week in, week out. We want Leeds to be like that, rolling the sleeves down. It's a bit uncomfortable, actually. That's what we want to see week in, week out. We want to see Leeds like that, you know, starting from the off really quickly. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't feel that it was sort of really, really quick at the start. But I don't think it needed to be. The difference was between Swansea, I thought, and Norwich, for instance, was they let us have the ball. They were dropping very, very deep. And you could see that straight away. And after the game, when Matty Grimes came out, he said that they were allowing the Leeds centre-halves to have the ball. Now, I wasn't 100% sure on that. I mean, you give us time on the ball, you don't close us down, and we're going to hurt you. You know, that's just Leeds United in a nutshell. That is what we will do. And the reason behind that is because we can do it. So it seemed throughout the first half anyway, that Swansea's game plan, it wasn't very good. And I was saying it to my mate who was alongside me. I said, they're letting us have too much of the ball. You know, in the midfield, KP was coming and running the game. I thought Cleat was getting a lot of joy for the first time in a while. I thought Pablo was picking up the ball in nice little positions. And you could see Leeds were finding embers of joy all over the pitch. And the play was brilliant. It's the first time in a long time. I don't even think the Derby game was as good as that high press. I really don't. And that says a lot. I thought in the Derby game we controlled the game, but I thought the press in this game was excellent. Every time Swansea had the ball, there was 4 or 5 Leeds players around. I frequently remember Dan James getting the ball and 4 or 5 Leeds players getting around him. You know, Ayling, Jansen coming in quickly. There was a few little tackles in the corner with Jansen and James, just letting him know that he was there. But yeah, there was players all around him. Cleat was getting involved, and obviously Bielsa knew he was the target man. So there was definite players in that team who had jobs to do on Dan James. I'm pretty certain of that. You know, we're after him in the summer, and that's what happens. Bielsa evidently loves the guy and really appreciates him as a footballer. So Leeds were just being dominant on him. I didn't think they really had much in that, as I said, in that first 45, in that first 70 really. And I thought Dan James, I don't know about what you guys think. I'm just getting onto your comments because my computer decided to log off. That was the light switch going off. But I don't know what you guys thought, but I thought he looked really, really dangerous in that first half. He didn't do much, but it was just the nippy breaks in play and the drop of the shoulder in, drop of the shoulder left. You know, and even if we do sign him in the summer, I think he'll be a real acquisition. And the only reason I still talk about Dan James is because I think there is still unfinished business with Leeds United and Dan James. But more talking about Leeds anyway. I thought we strangled them. And as I've said before, I didn't think they started that well. I thought they were very sort of lacklustre in possession. Leeds, and that was mainly down to Leeds' high press. And I just thought we were excellent all over the field. And, you know, getting that 2-0 cushion, it's quite a bit of a sensation that we've not felt for many times, really, this season. You know, us really dominating games in that respect. And we've not done it in a while, have we? So 2-0 up at the break. Normally we start games so sluggishly. It was really excellent to see. And it was really positive from Leeds United. I thought another thing that I really appreciated about the Leeds side was when chances weren't going our way, when we weren't able to, you know, pan out certain chances. I remember Ayling lost a couple in the corner. They just kept going, and that's a never say die attitude about this Leeds team. And it's something that we've all learned to respect and love about Bielsa ball. You know, there has been burnout. There's been burnout throughout the season, in my personal opinion. That's just the fatigue and, you know, players been injured. Not down to Bielsa's training, but just down to the sheer volume of game and the sheer demand Bielsa puts on his players. You know, there's going to be a result and a consequence of burnout from that, and that's what Rob Price said. So it's one of those where you've got to always expect that, but I did genuinely think Leeds were just excellent. And you know, I can't really say it any more times, but I thought as the game went on, maybe my critique would be maybe on that left-hand side. I mean, we got the second goal from the left-hand side, didn't we? So you can't be overly critical of that. Alioski, Harrison, brilliant header, and I'm so happy for him because Harrison needed that, you know. And Alioski with a really good assist. And I've started on the second goal because I'm just talking about our left-hand side. I do feel sometimes that, I guess this is the effective and critical nature of Leeds. And this is why, as fans, we sort of demand perfection because we're Leeds United fans. You know, we've had so many years in the wilderness and, you know, we sort of want that now, don't we? Even when a performance not spot on, we're all perfectionists and we sort of want that, don't we? We all revert back to those earlier games in the season, and that's what we want. You know, even though we're top of the table, with the most wins in the division, you know, we still want that perfection, that better display, that not lacklustre start, you know. And I thought the left-hand side, if I'm being brutally honest, I thought there was a lot of play down the left-hand side. I didn't think Pablo had as much play as Alioski and Harrison, and I thought they did okay. One criticism I would have would be potentially the first man. You know, I just feel the ball comes back, and it was funny, wasn't it? Because what was excellent about the second goal was Harrison predicted that. You know, Alioski tried to lift the ball off the floor. It sort of went where the first man would have been. It wasn't like sort of an elongated cross. It was a very short cross. Harrison predicted it and nodded it in, and the keeper expected the ball to go in the box, you know, the delivery to go into the box, but he didn't. Harrison knew where Alioski was going to play it, because I think Alioski's just got a little bit of history, hasn't he, of just hitting the front post or the first man. We always say it, don't we? But, you know, you can't criticise it. I thought Harrison did okay, but that's what I mean. I don't really feel Leeds were out of 5th or 6th gear last night. I really don't. I think we're excellent, but I don't think, and that's the pleasing thing, you know, you're coming up against an ex-Premier League side with the likes of Leroy Fair, obviously who didn't play last night, Ollie McBurney, Dan James, etc. And we weren't really out of 5th or 6th gear for me. I think, you know, that derby game for me is the linchpin of performances. You know, that for me was 9.5 out of 10. Sorry guys, I didn't know what was going on there. So I just wandered into my house. But yeah, so it's one of those things where that is the linchpin of performance, that 9:30 derby. I thought we were just phenomenal that game. And if we're able to transition that into these next 14 games. But like Joe, man, I'm getting a little bit excited. I'm getting a tiny bit excited, just in the respect of like, It's hard to say because I'm a very I will say this because I don't I don't think I'm pessimistic. I think sometimes I can be, and I that's the variation on this channel. That's the that's what we're all like. Some people like Marmite, you love us or you hate us. We'll try educate you on and be a little bit more informed. Maybe if you're not informed, maybe if you don't watch Leeds as often as we do, we try educate you, but sometimes you won't agree with us, and that's where some of the dislikes come from. And that's all about, being a football channel. You're not just going to get, likes after likes after likes and people loving your content and agreeing with you. Of course you're not. That's why we've got a variation on the channel. Someone asked me earlier on today would I describe it as a fan channel. I probably wouldn't, because we maybe don't do the standard things that other fan channels do. And that's what I like about All Leeds. I think it is quite unique. And when I think people come out and bash the channel, I think it's because they're threatened. I genuinely believe that because we're growing, we've got a fan base, we've got an army, we've got the All Leeds TV army that comment every single day and who are excellent with us, and we're growing. And some people around, maybe existing YouTubers who are sort of Leeds and think that the big Leeds YouTubers, they don't like that. And that's what we love to do. We don't comment on things that are going on outside and people hating on us. We just get on and we do our own thing. We stay in our own lane, and we're just hoping that you guys are enjoying the content. But we put our opinions out there. Maybe I am sometimes a little bit pessimistic, But when I look at the next 14 games, now I get excited because now I start to think to myself, that gap's getting narrower. I remember coming on Friday Night Football. The reason I'm doing Thursday Night Football tonight, by the way, guys, is because I'm going out with my girlfriend tomorrow night. We're doing Valentine's tomorrow night instead. So that's why I'm doing it tonight. But I do feel with 14 games left, you can see the end now. We can see the finishing line. Do you know what I mean? We can see the finishing line now. So that's a big positive for Leeds United. 100%. That's the goal line. We can see that. So I'm excited. I think there's a hell of a lot of tests coming up, I'll be brutally honest. But last night for me, I was saying to Joe in particular, I was saying that, and Oscar as well, I was saying this is going to be a real test. And I even predicted in my pre-match, I said it'd be a 1-1 or a 2-1 Swansea, and I did, because I'm being real with you guys. That's what I genuinely thought. I thought Swansea were going to sit back and hit us on the counter-attack, not give us any space, pressure high, and I thought Leeds might have struggled. I thought they'd hit our wings. I thought they'd hit Ayling, which for me, they didn't do enough of. Dan James didn't get enough of the ball. He didn't run at Ayling enough. I feel if he'd have done that, they could have had a little bit more joy. I don't understand why McBurney didn't start. I think if McBurney had started, he'd have maybe given us a little bit more problems, but who cares? No one's bothered about that. At the end of the day, 1-2-1. Should have been a 2-0. It was a 2-1 battering, in my opinion. Van der Horn spearing, Goldberg spearing Bamford in the box, which was interesting. Not flagged up by the referee once again, but it's just, we're used to it now, aren't we? So, but the end is in sight, and that's what you got to see. That's what I should have named this video. The end is in sight, because it is in sight. We can see it now. There's a finishing line. We've got obstacles and obstacles left to go, but if we can jump over those obstacles, ride those hurdles, we can do it. And I do thoroughly believe, because it's getting close now. For me, this Swansea game, it's the start of it. We've come over something, and we've played excellent football against a really good, recently relegated Premier League side. Next, we go to Bolton. Must win again. As I said when I made my video, 18 finals left. And that was what, 4 weeks ago now my video was made. If you're not checked that out, make sure you check that out on the All Leeds TV channel. But it's one of those things. We've got 14 games left. Can we do it? I think we've got some tricky games in there. For me, the tricky games. I've said it to Joe. I've said it to Oscar as well. The Birmingham's away. Birmingham have beaten us already this season, and they did it. They've got an excellent striker up front with Shea Adams, and they've got a good defensive structure. Yes, they lost to Bolton. I'm not saying they're going up or they're getting into the playoffs or anything like that. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is they can be a difficult team to beat. We've got them. Got Bristol City away, who are on an absolute assault at the minute. I don't know what's happened with them, but they find themselves, I think it's 9 points behind Leeds United, which is phenomenal. I remember looking about, I think it was about 2 months ago, and I was looking at the prospective fixtures coming up, and they were about 22 points behind us. So the point that what they've gained is ridiculous, to say Leeds have sort of been churning out wins and draws and stuff like that. So got them, Brentford away, Griffin Park, it's a tough place to go, innit? It's a really tough place to go. You got QPR away, so you got 4 games there for me. They're the 4 where I look and I think they're tough games. They're really, really tough games. So if Leeds if we can overcome that, and they sort of, the reason I have these opinions about Leeds is because, you know, when seasons gone by, as you all will have done, we've seen Leeds fall at this stage. Not at this stage though. The fact that we're still in the top two, we're top of the league. We're still here. In my lifetime, in recent memory, I cannot remember Leeds sustaining it for this period, and that was my worry from Christmas onwards. You know, this is where you've got to stick to your guns, because I said, you know, if we were top by February, we surpass Christmas, we surpass January's first 4 or 5 games, which we have done, maybe been a little bit lucky with the results going our way, then we're going to go up. And you can't go against that. You know, you've got Izzy Brown coming back into the fore. He's getting experience on the bench. Patrick Bamford's now starting regularly for Leeds United. There's not been that many injuries, touch wood, at the minute. You know, Forshaw's sort of gone in. Obviously, Douglas has sustained something a little bit, but they're going to be coming back in a week or two. You know, then we're going to have the fully strength squad back, apart from maybe Gitano, who's close to full fitness. And then we go into the last 10. The last 11, the last 10 games, you know. And even if we can go to Brentford and we're just needing points down there, if we can just churn out a point, you know, bearing in mind what I'm looking at is averaging 2 points a game. If we can churn out a point there, get 3 the week after when we play Millwall, do you know what I mean? It's not going to be win every game. You're naive if you think that. It's not going to be. And that's not me being pessimistic. That's not me being negative. That's me being realistic. I think it's going to be very difficult for any team to sustain, you know, a ridiculous winning streak now, because you got to think as well, the teams at the bottom of the table, you know, someone put out a statistic the other day saying Leeds are facing in our last 15 games when it was, you know, 10 of them are against, I think it was the bottom half. But you've got to think that that's potentially a struggle there, because, you know, a lot of them is trying to stay up. You know, you always get the freak results, like in our Monk era when Burton beat us. Do you know what I mean? You always get these. Bolton are probably going to come start fighting. You know, when they come to Ellen Road, they're going to be fighting for their lives. We've still got some tough games coming up. We still have got some tough games coming up. And that's why I wouldn't say I'm pessimistic. I say my feet are on the ground. I'm optimistic. I can see the end now. I can see it. It's there. I'm looking at you, Ipswich. I can see you. I can see the trophy. But feet are on the ground. Because I'm a Leeds fan. You're Leeds fans. You know, sometimes we know how it goes. So my feet are on the ground. I'm believing. I am believing. I really am. But my feet are on the ground. But we can see the end now. You know, 18's close to 20. 20 games left, a long time to go. 14's close to 10. Get to 10. We're on the home straight, but we've still got some massive games to go. So, yeah, I've not even read any of your comments yet. I've just got off on a little bit of a tangent anyway. But, you know, what did you guys think too? You know, I wanted to talk about Luke Ayling. That was something I needed to talk about. I want to know what your guys' opinion is on that. Me and Joe were talking earlier, and I think it's a big topic of conversation with Leeds fans right now. I ain't going to slate him. I think he's a great guy. I think he's a massive dude in the dressing room, is Luke Ayling, or Bill, as they all call him. Bielsa clearly loves him. Everyone in the squad loves him. I'm so happy that Luke Ayling is part of that matchday squad. Does he need taken out at the minute? Is he, if you're being real, is that Luke Ayling last night the Luke Ayling we saw A, at the start of the season, or B, in the Gary Monk era? Or even at the start of the TC era? Does he need a little bit of rest? He's come back from a big injury out and he's straight into the squad. You know, do we take him out just so he can regain his composure, regain his recovery, get recovery, you know, get back to a full mental state? Do we do that? He comes back chomping at the bit. We're getting involved. We'll get a fully fit Luke. I think he looks fit, but I don't think he's the fittest Luke Ayling we've seen, to be quite frank. And you've got Shackleton chomping at the bit. You know, he came on last night, Jesus Christ, and he nearly got an assist. What do we think? Marcus, Jesus, Conor hasn't had a drink yet. His work ethic is unbelievable. Mate, I haven't sat down yet. I've only been in from work an hour. Ayling was fantastic. Ayling better last night. Last thing he needs is the crowd against him. I would start Jamie for Bolton, give him a rest. Fans were singing his name in the stands, putting him down and slaughter him isn't going to help. Bielsa needs to manage this. Somebody's always going to get singled out. Before it was Harrison, before it was Alioski. right to play him against Borough because of his height, but should have dropped him. That's interesting. So that a general consensus of some in, some out then. That's really interesting, yeah, because when I talk about Ayling, you know, I mean, if fans are slaughtering him and fans are just hounding him out, then they're just mongs, they're idiots, you know. They're just by mongs I mean idiots, you know. It's not the right thing to do. I mean, he's a great in the change rooms. He's great within, you know, everything that's Leeds is Ayling. I really like him. He's a great personality. He's an excellent lad as well. Evidently, you know, they do a lot of Leeds United LUTV stuff around him, so he's a really good guy. By the sounds of it, I wouldn't want to get him out of the you know. I think it's a difficult one to sort of be coherent about, really, because, you know, he did better last night. So do you take him out? Probably not. But if he makes another couple of mistakes, what do you think? What do you think? I'm interested to hear what you guys think. Ayling is integral to the squad. Yeah. Okay, that's like I say, guys. I read all your comments. Another one as well. What about Cooper? I put it out on a tweet. It's got about 300 likes. You know, we're all talking about Jansen. We're all talking about Phillips. But what a performance that was from Liam last night. What a performance. He is a colossus at the minute. He is everything we need in a captain. How much that boy has come on, I cannot believe. I was one of the Coopers out. I think a lot of you, if you come out and say, no, I was always Team Cooper, you're lying to yourself and you're lying to everybody else. There was a lot of people who were anti-Cooper. You know, silly mistakes, those crossfield balls which always got intercepted, own goals, stupid clearances. But what a change in that man. I'd probably, because we always knew Calvin was going to get to those heights. Maybe not the heights he's at now, but we always knew he was going to grow, Calvin. I think we all sort of had it in our head that he was going to be a quality player. Did we ever think Liam was going to get to this heights, to these heights? You know, a lot of people called him League One Liam. Did anyone ever think Cooper was going to go from this, probably an average bottom half centre back, to go into one of the best in the division? That's why I think Liam Cooper is the player of the season for Leeds United so far. I think he has been unbelievable. Jansen was always quality, in my opinion. I think he's always shown he's in the Swedish national team, quality. And he has gone up a level as Jansen. And he was excellent last night. But I think consistently, Liam Cooper has been absolutely fantastic for Leeds United this season. I thought last night, first to everything. Interceptions, he's so much fitter. You can just see when he's dropped that body weight, how much more athletic he is, how much more physical he is. He's put on muscle as well, you know. And the athleticism of the guy, you know, he's able to jump about 8 feet in the sky when he normally, you know, he could barely get off the ground. He looked unfit before Bielsa, always, and I thought he was sluggish. He's just unbelievable this season. I want a special mention to him because he's an unsung hero. I really think that. I know he's our captain, but I think last night everyone was talking about Jansen and Phillips, and you know, those two were just ridiculously good. But I also thought an unsung hero, the quiet captain, the one who just gets on with it, the meek and mild lad, Liam Cooper, 250 grand from Chesterfield, slated by many, appreciated by the minority, and what a player he is now. What a player. You know, you're selling Liam Cooper now, which you're not, and I think you're looking at upwards of 10 million. I really do. I think he's that good. So a little bit of, you know, a little bit of kudos to that man. He was my favourite player last season. This year, I think maybe something is going on in his life. I need to get back on top form. Yeah, I'd agree. I just think he needs to be taken out the firing line a little bit, mate. I really do. Yeah, that's just for the lad's sake. I think he'll come back chomping at the bit. Most of our players' performances have massively improved, but maybe Ayling hasn't as much. Carl, plumbing and heating. It's a really good point, Carl. A really good point, and I saw it in an article that was done online actually. Has Ayling improved drastically under Bielsa? And it's not slagging him off. It's not doing any of that because we all love Ayling. I'm reading the chat now. You all love him. I love him. My dad loves him. My brother loves him. My mates love him. He's a great player, but has he adapted to the Bielsa system as well as, let's say, Cooper? Cooper's gone from there to there. To Phillips, who's gone from there to there. Jansen, there to there. Berardi, there to there. Roof, there to there. Could you say Ayling's gone from there to there? I think I'm not going to say you've been naive, but I think if you think that there's been a massive comparable improvement from Ayling, then I'm not sure. I think Carl's got a really good point there. Cooper is still inconsistent. When is Dr. Frost? When has he been inconsistent? This guy's a troll. I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is. You know, I'm sure this guy is a troll. How is it? How has he been inconsistent? How? I swear his match rating is about 7 on average for this season. That is not inconsistent at all. Excellent against Borough. You know, that's just the last game we played. Inconsistent. How far do we go back? Is this for the full slog? I don't know. I don't know how. That is that. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I guess everyone's got an opinion. I think that's what this channel's all about. We have to trust Bielsa. Cooper on and off the field is unsung. I'm from Hull, and loads of people say Cooper's brother is and was better than him, but he is a drug addict, so can never make it as a pro. All right, Ben. Yeah, didn't see that coming, mate. But fair. Well, that's what I mean. The grind every single day, every single training session from Liam Cooper evidently is paying off, isn't it? What else have we got on here? Oh dear. Because he has missed the Leeds, is Jansen. I love KP, but bloody hate his haircut. Yeah. Berardi may lay claim to the right back place when fit. Yeah, I mean, the system was excellent under when Berardi was there, wasn't it? It was excellent. I think the thing that I loved about Berardi was he was able to get the ball and transition defence to attack very, very quickly. He'd get the ball out of his feet. He did it excellently against Norwich away, I remember. And he was once again an unsung hero in that game, defended everything valiantly. And as Joe said as well, I made a really good point, that against, you know, Borough, when we played them at home, he dealt with their height so well. And he's only a 5'9" lad, isn't he, Berardi? But how he was able to get the ball first touch on the front foot, which I think is so confident for a defender. Not many defenders you will see when they receive the ball from the keeper, get it on the back foot, stroke the ball out, stroke the ball forward as well. You'll get a lot of defenders, they have a closed body and they go straight back to the keeper or potentially to the right back. What Berardi would do is he'd take it on his back foot, his weaker left foot, and he'd transition the ball forward, and he'd do that consistently. And that's what we've missed. I do think we've missed that because the pace from the back has been a little bit sluggish. We had to wait for Jansen to get up to full speed. Cooper was for me was excellent from day one. I thought Jansen was the one at the start who hadn't really just come back from the World Cup. He hadn't really got up to speed with the Bielsa ball. You know, he'd come back a little bit later than everybody else. And I thought Berardi and Cooper were definitely, I think Bielsa alluded to it earlier on in the season, they were his two picks. And Jansen was the one who was going to come in. Jansen's obviously got up to speed like we all knew he would do. He's become a maturer player. And now he fits in there seamlessly. But then when Berardi comes back, do you go to a back three? I certainly would. I think you can vary the formation up now. I think with Izzy Brown coming in, you can go to a 3-3-1-3. And then you can implement Berardi, you can implement Douglas, and you can implement Izzy Brown. So that's what I would do. I don't think you can keep Berardi out of this side. I think he's so important to how we transition it from our third to the final third. What else have we got here? We love Berardi, but he ain't much better than Ayling, realistically. That's an interesting shout. That's super LUFC, that one. I don't know about that one. I think it depends what respect you're talking about. If you're talking an out-and-out right back or a right wing back, I'd probably agree with you. I don't think he is better. But if you're talking about a general footballer, someone on the ball, someone who will fit in the Bielsa system, someone who evidently fits the ethos and philosophy of Marcelo Bielsa, and how his team plays, I do think Berardi suits the system a little bit better than Ayling, but I wouldn't compare them because I wouldn't put Berardi in place of Ayling. Berardi's not like a right wing back for me, and if we're playing three at the back, you know, and you're talking about taking Ayling back, potentially putting Halmer in the back three or something, I don't know what you're thinking, maybe Forshaw in that back three like he was doing earlier on in the season, then I wouldn't swap Berardi for Ayling. No, I completely agree with you. If I was to do that, because I think if you play 3-3-1-3, which I think we will do towards the back enders of the season, I think if you're doing that, then you've got to have pace on the wings, and that's why I think it's perfect for someone like Shackleton or Ayling when he's back to the normal Ayling that we're used to seeing, you know. Conor, who would you replace Izzy for when he's fit? Yeah, good question. Who would I replace Izzy for? Well, if I'm looking at the 3-3-1-3, which is probably what I'd like to play, if you're sort of playing the three up top as inverted, so if you're playing those two, let's say you've got Izzy there, potentially Pablo there, and then you've got Bamford at the tip. I'd quite like to, and then you'd have Roof there, just in the CAM role. So you'd have those four in the forward positions. You could just rotate all of those four, and I think that's what Bielsa's done with previous clubs. You know, he did it with Maxi Rodriguez very famously, you know, for the Argentinian national side, and they rotated as that front four. So if we can do that, if we can implement that, I'd probably look at maybe taking, obviously he's not started last night, but potentially taking Clark out and sticking Izzy Brown in, a more experienced championship vet. And obviously the more obvious one for me would probably be Jack Harrison. I just think Izzy Brown's going to be more effective. He gets more goals. I think he'll get more assists. And I think if we're playing that 3-3-1-3 or even potentially a 4-2-3-1 narrow, I think you're going to get a lot more from Izzy Brown. I think there was a reason Bielsa was putting him left wing, or Carlos Corberán was playing him left wing for the Birmingham under 23s game. And he scored, didn't he? Got the equaliser in the last minute. So I just think he's going to be massive towards the back end of the season. Shackleton looked really good to assist to Roof. Great block late on, maybe a diamond. Yeah, diamond would be interesting, wouldn't it? Yeah. George Hanks, Berardi played good as right back against Borough in the first time. Right centre back or right back against Borough the first time. Yeah, I think he played more the centre half role, didn't he? But he was excellent. Shackleton for Cleek. That's a good shout. You know, I thought Cleek was much better last night. I thought he ran the game. I thought he got on the ball a little bit more as well. He looks a little bit more confident, you know, against a good midfield. I thought they gave him way too much space, and you give someone like Matthias Cleek a little bit of space, like we saw in the second half versus Rotherham. You give him space and he'll punish you. And I thought he had some great interlinking passes with the left-hand side of our team. Unfortunately, the left-hand side, aside from the second goal, weren't thoroughly able to exploit. You know, and the reason I say that, guys, is because I thoroughly believe at half-time we could have been about 3 or 4 up. I really believe that, you know, maybe the quality of balls were a little bit better coming from that side. Leeds could have really been effective. So, yeah, who knows? But, yeah, Shackleton came in straight away, didn't he? Burst forward. That's what you're going to get with Shackleton. That's what I love about him. He's not looked overwhelmed in any game he's played, which says so much about his character, his maturity. And he just goes at players, and that's what I love about him. He's got that raw directness as a youth product. You know, he reminded me that run that he did last night was memorable to Lewis Cook. It was the exact same runs Cookie used to do. He used to pick the ball up defensively and stream through that midfield, and you know, that's probably where he's quite reminiscent of Cookie. You know, he's small, slight, strong on the ball, quick when he runs with it. You know, and I actually think he gets forward a little bit more than Cook. You know, I think when I've watched him at, you know, in the youth games as well, he seems to pick the ball up and actually charge forward. You know, so we've got a real player on our hands there. You know, it's just up to Bielsa how he utilises him, I guess. What else have we got? Glenn Sutcliffe, can't wait to see Izzy. Who would he replace, or would he be an impact off the bench? Yeah, Glenn, I reiterated a little bit ago, mate. I don't know if you just joined, but yeah, I would have him in place potentially Harrison or Clark. You know, just in a front three. I really would. I think he's that effective. Or you could put him in the CAM, which is where he played for Huddersfield. So. Ayling is not a Premiership starter. I'd probably agree with that. It's going to be a good end of the season with strength in depth and with the squad finally. Yeah, I mean, that's what we're all hoping for, isn't it? I don't know how long Douglas is out for. That was a bit of a strange one the other night, how he was on the bench against Borough, and then this time he wasn't. That was a bit strange. You know, I don't know what's going on there. Hoping he's okay. You know, I really am hoping he's okay. I'd expect Clark to be fully fit. I think Bielsa, to be fair, said that Douglas would be fully fit for the Bolton game. Don't quote me on that. It's just a little bit of a memory jog I've just had. Clark, I think, will be fit as well. So, you're looking at the depth of the squad. I think Berardi's probably going to be potentially ready for maybe the game after QPR. And that's sort of what Rob Price indicated time-wise. So, if we're looking at that, then, in 2 or 3 games, we genuinely could have our fully fit squad back. I think Forshaw's also going to be fit for the Bolton game. So, it's where you fit people in now. That's the options we've got. Sheffield United and Norwich have had the position of being able to rotate and being able to do these sorts of things. Gary Medine's coming in from Goldrick. Earlier on in the season, Clark was coming in for Billy Sharp. Norwich, Tete coming out and Tribal coming in. Buendia coming out, Steeperman coming in, Pookie coming out, Rhodes coming in. It's rotation with quality. This is what I was getting at earlier on. For example, Gale and Rodriguez completely interchanging all the time. Jacob Murphy coming out. And then you've got the likes of Matty Phillips being able to come in. Stuff like that, guys. That's rotation with quality. And that's why I was a little bit fearful with Leeds. And that's why we have to keep not a fully fit squad. Obviously, we're going to have injuries, but as close to the first team squad as we can get, because we need that quality in the final 14 games, because I fully expect, there's still 42 points to play for. This squad is going to be stretched. I thoroughly believe that, we run into the ground in training, it transitions into matches. It was only a couple of weeks ago where Jansen was saying, sometimes we're going to the matches tired because of the training throughout the week, because we train like when we play matches. So, you look at if they're training 3 or 4 times a week, it's sort of, they're having 5 intense matches a week, aren't they? So they're running themselves into the ground. It's working. We're still top of the league, still, we've been top of the table longer than anybody else in this division. So evidently something is working, but we all want the fully fit squad back, don't we? And realistically, got some big games coming up. Big games coming up. Some, some tricky away games, those 4 that I said, QPR, Brentford, Birmingham, and Bristol City. They're tough away games. Then you're looking at, bottom of the league title, trying to get out of that relegation spot. Bolton, Millwall, sort of coming to Ellen Road still. And then you've got the likes of, Sheffield United, West Brom, Villa. Then you've got, your quality teams there. But at the end of the day, guys, we can do this. We've done it so far. So why can't we do it now? Do you know what I mean? So we've just got to keep plugging away. We've got to get, we get closer to that squad quality, that squad depth, like I've just spoke about with the other teams. And we'll be absolutely fine, in my personal opinion. We stave off injuries for a little bit. We go through maybe 5 or 6 games where we don't pick up any, get a little bit of consistency going, maybe win 3-4 games out of 5, something like that. We start getting that promotion form back again. Last night was a kickstart. We need to build on that now. This is what, everyone in the group chat was saying that, it was something like the Norwich game, which can kick us on. We did last time. We went on that 7-game unbeaten run. Nearly broke the history books. I don't know if it was 7 or 8 games. I beg your pardon. But that's what we need to do. This needs to be a run now. We get a little run together now, and we could break away. And I'm being serious. I'm being serious. We could really break away. Just think about it. Teams have got tough games around us. They really have got tough games around us. West Brom, I was looking at theirs the other day, and they've still got, the next 2 games. Villa, then they've got QPR away. That's not an easy fixtures. 2 easy fixtures at all. You look at this weekend, you potentially could see Leeds United going 3rd. So you've all got to brace yourself for. But relax. We've still got Bolton. We've still got QPR to come. I've just said that QPR is a difficult game, and it will be. But at the end of the day, we're Leeds United. We've already beaten them once this season. We can do it again. So I do think a lot of teams, there's a lot of twists and turns to come. There really are. But we've just got to make sure we're on the right end of that twist, haven't we? Craig Stone, Preston away. Exactly, Craig. Another one. That's another really tough one. And the only reason I didn't mention Preston was because we've always had really good runs down in Preston. Aside from the other season, we've had really good run-ins down at Preston. I think the reason we used to have a really good run-in there was because Grayson was there for about 3 years. Every time we used to go, we used to batter him. So I think it's changed a little bit now. 100%, mate. I agree. I think Preston's another real tough game coming up. The Marfacey, I see you've made your bed, Conor lad. Mate, the amount of stuff I get about this bed is unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? This is the $1 million shot. You don't need to focus on that thing. Yeah, I'm saying, Jesus. Bielsa just starving Izzy. He's going to be hungry once he gets his chance. Man management at his finest, leather sandals. Yeah, mate. I mean, imagine if he comes in and he just rockets through it. He rockets through it. I think he's managing Izzy better than anyone. You know, I think he knows, Bielsa knows when he brought him in, he said it from the start, he was going to manage him well. You know, Leeds were only going to pay him up until the point he starts playing for Leeds. They've started paying for him, from what I've heard, the past 4 to 6 weeks. When he started getting a little bit more involved, you know, in the 23s, near the first team squad, etc., etc. But I think he's managing him because he knows he's our talisman. And I thoroughly believe that, you know, Bamford, Bamford came back and he chucked him straight back in. I'm not saying he didn't manage him well, but you can see with Izzy, you know, what he says about him. You know, when he comes out and says, look, there's still many games more that I want to see Izzy playing. I want to see Izzy here, there. I want to give him a little bit of experience. He's being completely meticulous. He's in that obsessive Bielsa mindset about Izzy Brown. You heard Rob Price coming out 2-3 weeks ago saying Izzy's fit. He's fully fit. But Bielsa wants a hungry Izzy Brown. He's looking at these games, Bielsa, and on his Excel spreadsheet, and he'll be thinking, right, I want him in for this game. And the reason I want him in for this game is because I want him to attack him, I want him to play in this role, and I want him to devastate the opposition. And exactly like you said, Izzy's going to be hungry. He's not played all season, and that'll be pissing him off. You know, he's not played all season. He'll want to prove something when he gets on. Touch wood, he doesn't run on and just get injured, which would just be our luck this season, wouldn't it? But, you know, touch wood, he doesn't do that. We've got an absolute player there for the last 14 games. And we've all been saying throughout the season, you know, we want Izzy Brown, Izzy Brown, Izzy Brown. Izzy Brown's been my number one I've wanted to see over Bamford, you know, over Douglas even at the start of the season. I remember we bought Brown in a little bit later on, but I was so over the moon with that signing. I was so over the moon. Even when we didn't know much about Harrison and Baker, Brown was the one for me because I've seen him do it. I've seen him. He's horrible as well. He gives us something a bit nasty as well. All you've got to do is revert back to that Huddersfield game. You know, he's got a little bit of nastiness in him. That's one thing I will give that horrible team. That promoted squad, they had a bit of horribleness about them. Do you know what I mean? Hefele, Brown, Moy. They had something a little bit about them, which was just nasty, and Brown was a part of that. Do you know what I mean? He'd give it, and that's what we need towards the back end of the season. We need someone who's a little bit horrible. So getting someone's face, we'll roughen him up a little bit. He's 6'2", for Christ's sake. He's going to give us another dimension. Him and Bamford start in most games. They're going to give us a whole new dimension on corners, set pieces. You get Barry Douglas in, he's starting whipping those balls he was putting in at the season. Then you look at Jansen, Cooper, Berardi, who's potentially in a 3. You know, not the tallest, but very good in the air. Alioski, who's very good in the air, you know, depending on what formation we're playing. Then we've got Brown and Bamford. The possibilities that kid brings, it's really, that's what I want you guys to remember. He changes the dynamic of this team. He really does. He changes everything for me. Formation-wise, how we play. And how when I say how we play, I mean him just being direct to set pieces. And that can change the whole day. That can pick you up a scrappy 1-0. The amount of times he would bundle one in for Huddersfield in that final 6 months he was playing. And, you know, it gives him a little bit, you know, he's Bielsa mould now. He's Bielsa fit. So he will start this run 100 mile an hour. So I'm very, very excited to see him. And I'm praying that he comes in. You know, I want to see him before I think we will. I want to see him before that 10-game running. I want to see Izzy Brown. And to be honest with you guys, I think that is when we'll see him. I really do. I think Bielsa's just giving him a little bit of experience at the minute, a little bit of taste of Championship football, which he's already had, but he's older now. Sticking him on the bench, seeing what Leeds are about, seeing the dynamic on the bench, seeing the dynamic in the matchday squad. You know, he had his initiation, didn't he? So he's within the squad now. I think we'll see Izzy Brown. I don't think we'll see him against Bolton. I'm brutally honest with you guys. I think we might see a little cameo of him at QPR. And then I think with 11 games to go, I think Bielsa's managing him. So he's in for that slog. He's in when we can see the end goal. And, you know, worst comes to it, touch wood, it doesn't happen. But then he's ready for the playoffs. Got experience in the playoffs. Won the playoffs. Got promoted through the playoffs. So he's in every aspect of Leeds United's end of season performance. He is pivotal. He is absolutely vital. Hi, Henry. I've just seen you. Hi. So what have we got? Have to start him, otherwise he'll get injured again. Hope Izzy isn't a big flop. I know we all think this, but he's got championship experience as well, guys. He's done it at two clubs, two shit clubs as well. So he's come into a dynasty in Leeds United, and the top of the table. So he's just got to sit. He's already within that Bielsa mold. Scored in the reserve. If he hadn't have scored and been putting in decent performances in the 23s, I'd have been a little bit worried. And I know the transition from the 23s to the first team is very different, but normally it's a good indication. Saw Bamford do it. He was getting a lot of chances, scoring a few goals. In the first time when he got injured, and then he came back against Bolton. We didn't see it this time, obviously, because Bielsa threw him straight back in. But the first time, the indication is through the 23s, really, and it's a bit of a seamless transition because they play the exact same as we play. So Bielsa knows what he's doing. That's why he's the godfather of football. I love that man. I love that man too. Demar, yeah. Any news on Clark's health scare, scans, tests, etc. We'll probably need him. That's another one. You forget about young Jack Clark, don't you? This is what I mean, guys, with depth. When you get Izzy back as well, I keep going on about him, but Clark, Harrison getting a little bit better, Pablo, Bamford, Roof, Cleat moving forward. Do you know what I mean? You got a little bit of depth there, haven't you? A little bit of depth, something going forward towards the end of the season. Then defensively, you got Calvin back, who is so instrumental. You saw that last night. Forshaw available, Shackleton, Ayling, Douglas, Cooper, Janssen, Halmer, Berardi. It's Kassir in net. Bailey as his cover. It's looking good. It really is looking good. So, on his health scare though, mate, I heard Jamie Shackleton on the Talking Shut podcast. If you haven't heard that, go check it out. It's really good. He said that he's absolutely fine, which is good. Bamford needs to step the F up. That's from Love, or LOVE, however you want to call yourself. I'd agree. I think he does need to step up. He could have had a couple of goals in these last two games, but at the end of the day, you know what I mean? He's going to get there. We've got a serious run of games left, and I'm still... You see the little touches, the little intelligent play. There was a really nice little bit of play where Leeds were playing a bit of one touch yesterday. I think it was in the second half. And he lays it off to Pablo, and Pablo has a strike and the keeper palms it out. Now, that's very intelligent from Bamford. He was backing into the defender and just literally rolled the ball from under his foot to Pablo. And it's these little intelligent links of play. There's a reason Bielsa's putting him 9, because he evidently feels a little bit more confident with Bamford at 9 and feels Roof can do a job at 10. So there's a reason he's doing it, but I do think Bamford will hit the... I think, as well, when Brown comes back in, they're going to start linking up, and it's going to be great. Imagine if we had Bamford and Brown fully fit all season. Exactly, mate. I mean, that's what Bielsa wanted at the start of the season, but obviously, well, not with Brown because he was injured from the start, but Bamford, there's a lot of things that we wanted at the start of the season, but we didn't get, Angus Gunn, Vidra, all this sort of stuff, but we didn't get, which is fine. With Cope, we're still top of the league, so who's bothered? Etc. etc. Right, guys. To be brutally honest with you lot, I am knackered. I've done a 12-hour shift, so I'm absolutely dead. So I needed to come and do this because I'm not doing it tomorrow. So I didn't want you guys to be missed out, but I am gonna go into this scruffy bed, which you all keep commenting on. So sorry for seeming a bit jaded or anything tonight. I think it's been all right. Yeah, you've all engaged. It's been a little bit more of a comment reading. Normally I start banging on about Leeds and go into depth because you guys know what I'm like. But I just wanted to read out your comments because I've not done that in a while. And I feel like I've not done my stream properly for a while. So I'll get onto those hour-and-a-half streams probably next week, guys, and then that'll be something that I'll start next week probably. I'm just a bit knackered this week. 12-hour shifts. I'm absolutely zonked. So if you wouldn't mind smashing the likes as well, guys, that'd be great. That'd be really appreciated. Peace and thanks for your effort. I really appreciate that, guys. I really appreciate that. And thank you, Dr. Frost, for the abuse as well. I appreciate that, my friend. Leeds, we're all Leeds. Doesn't matter. Whatever. It's all love. I hope you all have a fantastic evening. Even you, Mr. Frost. Hope you all have a good one anyway. And I will speak to you very soon. We'll sort something out next week. So I'm asking you on a date, don't I? We'll sort something out next week. Probably something, obviously, we're no match game this week, so we'll sort something out. Don't know where me, Joe, and Oscar are going to do something. We'll get something sorted on the group chat, but you won't miss out on stuff, guys, because we never like letting you miss out on all this sort of stuff. Hope you're all good, guys, and I will catch you in a bit. Cheers.